Hey, it's Crystal and I am the Hungry Virginian, and today we're going to be making one of my kids' favorite takeout meals here in the house. It's a global pandemic. We're not really allowed to go outside to restaurants right now, so I'm going to take one of my kids' favorite treats to get when we're out at the mall. They love Auntie Annie's pretzels, and we're going to do our own little spin on them. We're going to make a version I think that's even better than Auntie Annie's, and it's going to be everything pretzel dogs.
Why is it better?
It's better because it's everything pretzel dogs. It has everything bagel seasoning on it, and that's so much better than Auntie Annie does.
Yes.
Auntie Annie does. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take some warm water. It's gonna be about between 105 to 115 degrees. You don't want it any hotter than that because you don't want to kill your yeast. To that, we're gonna add some granulated sugar, a little bit of kosher salt. We're gonna give that a quick mix, just a little bit. And then on top of that, we're going to add our active dry yeast. And we're going to sprinkle that on top. We're actually not going to mix it up though. Sprinkle that on top, and we're going to let that sit for about 5 minutes. Alright, so now that our yeast is foamy, we're going to go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients. That's going to be our all-purpose flour, melted butter, Italian seasoning, and then also a half a cup of Asiago cheese. So usually the recipe actually calls for Parmesan cheese, and that's what we usually use, but today we're using Asiago because that's what was available at our supermarket.
And it's a great substitute?
It is a great substitute. I was actually really disappointed that I couldn't get Parmesan cheese at the supermarket over the weekend, but Google said that Asiago is a good substitute, so we're going to use Asiago. Let's see. Oh, our melted butter isn't as melted as it once was. Just give that a quick little stir.
I didn't know you put cheese in the recipe. I mean, I didn't know it was in the bagel.
So this is actually our pretzel dog recipe 2.0. Our original recipe was just a basic pretzel dough. And this one actually seasons this is the Italian seasoning. Okay. So this pretzel dog we actually like even more than our original recipe, and it's because the pretzel itself has much more flavor. So you have the cheese and the Italian seasoning in it, so it actually tastes a lot better by itself. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix this, and this is a Danish dough hook. We're gonna mix this. Since we're going by hand, it's probably gonna take us about 6 to 8 minutes. To make this happen, but if you use your stand mixer, you can get this done in about 4 or 5 minutes. So the Danish dough hook is really great if you don't have a stand mixer and you want to make bread and things at home, and that's because it does a really good job of mimicking the stand mixer. I actually prefer to knead by hand most often, not even with the dough hook. I usually just knead my dough using my hands. But today, at least for now, we're going to start with the Danish dough hook. And if it gets to be too difficult, then I'll just pour it out onto the table and knead by hand, because as I said, that's what I prefer.
How long do you have to knead it for?
I'm gonna knead this for about 6 to 8 minutes. But if I do it by hand, it could take probably as much as 10. And I'm probably about to switch to doing it by hand just because this isn't as easy as I would like it to be. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and just pour it out and start kneading by hand. So right around this point, my audio went out on my camera. So what I'm going to do now is just knead it for about 6 or 7 minutes until it's a nice ball, a nice taut ball. And then I moved it over into a lightly oiled bowl and covered that with a damp towel. And I let that proof for about 45 minutes. All right, so the dough has been proofing for probably about 30 minutes, so it's about 20 to 25 minutes to go. What I'm going to do right now is put 10 cups of water on to boil, and to that I'm going to add 2/3 of a cup of baking soda, stir that around, and then this is going to be our bath for the pretzels. At the same time as I start this, I also preheated the oven to 450, so that's going to be ready to go in just a little while. And that's it. So we're gonna mix this up. Alright, it's been about an hour. Our dough has doubled. Our water has come to a boil. So now we're going to pour this out. Actually, before we pour it out, we're gonna lightly oil our work surface. So I oil a pretty big space, and that's because we're gonna have to roll these out into long ropes. Okay, and I'll do this next step now too. So you also want to oil your seal pack. So this recipe actually makes 10 hot dogs or 10 pretzel dogs. But we're not going to make all of those right now. But what we are going to do is roll out our dough, which came out very easily because we greased our pan, and we greased our bowl. And you want to divide it into 10 pieces. If you have a food scale, this comes in handy now because you can make sure you're all the same size. But I'll be honest with you, in my experience, I've never had to use my food scale when I'm doing this. So then we're gonna roll it out into some ropes. So you want the rope to be about 18 inches. And what I like to do is, so if you saw, I added a little bit from one of the other ones to this one, so I have to make sure I roll that back together. So you want to roll it. All right, so then you just start on one end and you roll it. You roll your dog up. You want to go from end to end. That's it. That is one. Okay. What I have here is an egg yolk with a splash of water to make a quick little egg wash that we're going to use in just a few minutes. So we're going to throw our dogs in the water. Like I said, I usually do 2 at a time, about 30 seconds. And 2. Okay. All right, so that's our first 4 pretzel dogs. Now we're just going to brush them with a little bit of our egg wash. That's going to give us a nice shiny coat when they come out of the oven, but also serves a dual purpose. It's going to get our everything bagel seasoning to stick. And so you can actually make your own everything bagel seasoning. That's what I usually do. But I recently found this in the supermarket, so I started using this instead. So I like a lot on mine, but there we go. That's it. I'm gonna bake these guys for 10 to 12 minutes and I'll be right back. All right, so we let those bake for about 12 minutes until they were golden brown. And there you have it, everything pretzel dogs. My family loves this recipe and I hope you'll give it a try.